Hi guys, my name is Jamie. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes of your day here with me on my channel. Today I'm going to talk about the 19 products that I want to pan in 2019. So I've never done a project pan before, so I don't know if the products I pick are too ambitious or too easy, but I used to have a mentality where if I start to hit pan or use up a product, I would completely stop using it altogether because I was scared of running out of it. I really want my makeup collection to reflect the fact that I'm using it and getting my money's worth out of all of my products instead of hoarding things for a long period of time. So a lot of the products here I want to finish up because I've had them, or I just want to show them more love and get some use out of them. The first product that I want to use up is my Maybelline Fit Me Loose Setting Powder. This is in the shade 05. I bought this because a lot of YouTubers are talking about how this is the greatest drugstore setting powder ever, but I actually really dislike this. I find it makes my under eyes look drier than they already are, and it makes it crepe up, and it doesn't really look flattering. So I want to use this up and get this out of my collection. The next product that I want to use up is this ColourPop Super Shock Shadow in the shade Blaze. It's a really pretty bronze with flecks of glitter, and as you can see, I already have some pan in it. This color was a collaboration with Kathleen Lights, but I find that as my makeup collection has grown, I gravitate towards my Super Shock shadows less and less. I want to finish this one up and get it out of my collection. The next product that I want to use up is this Tarte blush in the shade Party. This was a Sephora birthday sample a few years ago. I like it, but I'm not using it as much as I'd like to. I keep this in my makeup bag that I have with me at work, and to be honest, I'm not applying blush when I'm sitting at my office. The imprint of this one has started to wear away a bit, but I'd like to hit some pan on this. The next product that I want to use is my No. 7 bronzer in the shade Golden Sands. As you can see, I have some pretty serious pan on this because this is one of my favorite bronzers. I like to use this up and get it out of my collection because I find that there's such pan and all the products left on the sides. I'm not really using it. The next product that I want to use is this Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer. It's in the shade C1, and I bought this when there were all those YouTube videos about, is this a dupe for Shape Tape? I like it, but on a day-to-day basis, I prefer my concealer to be lighter coverage, lighter weight, because I often wear concealer and no foundation. This is definitely too heavy for that purpose, and I find that it doesn't really mix well with a lot of my foundations, and I can't wear it on a more full coverage day. I would like to use this up and get it out of my collection. The next concealer that I want to use is this NYX HD Concealer. This is obviously way too dark for my skin tone, but I bought it as a liquid bronzer or a liquid contour. I'm just not gravitating towards it as much as I thought I would be. This product is pretty much full, and I'd like to finish it up and get it out of my collection. The next product that I have is this e.l.f. Shimmering Facial Whip. I don't even know the shade, and it's kind of old. I shouldn't even have it in my collection past 2019, and I'm not really using it that much. It's about here, so I'd like to finish this up, and I don't plan on repurchasing this because my least favorite liquid highlight that I own. Another product that I want to use is Pixi Tinted Lip Balm. It's about up to here, and I'd like to finish this up. This was decluttered to me by a friend, so it's a little bit older, and once again, I'm just not gravitating towards it as much. So if it's in my project pan, I'll get more use out of it, and maybe if I like it, I can always pick up a new one, but I don't need to be holding on to this any longer. The next product that I'd like to use up is this ColourPop Cream Gel Liner in the shade Honey Dude. It's a pretty nude, and I have about this much left. I'm not getting much use out of this because I find out of all of the ColourPop pencils that I own, this one doesn't stay as well in my waterline. I'd like to finish this up, and I plan on repurchasing more ColourPop pencils, but just not the nude one. Because I put the No. 7 bronzer in my collection and there's hardly anything left, I decided to add a second bronzer. This is the Physician Formula Butter Bronzer in the shade Bronzer. I hear this is notoriously hard to pan, but I think because I have hardly anything left in the butter bronzer, I can get some good use out of this and use it for the majority of the year. The next product that I want to use up is my Mary Luminizer by The Balm. This was the first highlight I ever owned, and as you can see, it was well loved. So I used this to death, and I have a pretty considerable pan on it. I like to finish it up and get it out of my collection so I can focus on new highlighters, and I can always repurchase this in the future. I don't need to stay hanging on to this. The next product that I want to use up is my Maybelline lipstick in the shade Truffle Tease. It's actually what I'm wearing right now, but I have a gloss on top. Once again, this is in my work makeup bag, so I find that I'm not really applying it throughout the day. It's a pretty nude and I really like it, but I just want to get more use out of it. So that's how much I've left on that. The next product, which I think is going to be the hardest to get use out of, is the LA Girl Pro Matte Foundation. This is pretty much full, but I find the shades a little too light for me. So therefore, I don't reach for it as much. I definitely have darker foundations I can mix into this to make it my perfect shade. So by putting it in my project, I'll be more inclined to use it and get it out of my collection. I love this formula and do intend on purchasing one in the right shade once I finish this. The next product that I want to use is my MAC Fix Plus Setting Spray. This is one of those products that once I start using and there's a considerable dent in it, I stop using it because I'm like, oh my God, I can't run out of this. So then I just don't use it. I have about a third left, and I think because I put the Maybelline powder in my collection, I will get good use out of this because I can use this in conjunction. Another product that I want to use up is this Thayer's Witch Hazel Toner. Out of all of the skincare steps that I do, I find that toner gets the most neglected. I now have a spray toner that I like much more, so then I even gravitate towards this less. I like to finish it up and get it out of my collection. Its giant bottle is taking up so much space, and I'm just not using it. So I'd say I'm about a third-ish done with this. I'd like to finish up the ColourPop Supernova shadow in the shade Running in Orbits. I really don't like the Supernova formula. I find that it flakes off really easily and doesn't have a long staying powder. I'd say this is about halfway full, and I'd like to finish this up, and I do not plan on purchasing more of these. Another product that I want to use is my Sunday Riley CEO Rapid Flash Brightening Serum. I have about a quarter use on this, and I received this in an Allure beauty box. I like it, but I feel like because I know how expensive this is, I'm less inclined to use it because I don't want to purchase a $95 serum. I actually don't think I would buy this because I don't think it does enough for my skin. If I get this out of my collection, I can try more vitamin C serums and see which one really works for me. The last two products I have are both eyeshadow palettes. The first one is the Anastasia Prism palette. This was the 2017 holiday release, and I like it. The only thing with this palette is I find that because the color scheme is more avant-garde, it's difficult to put together a cohesive look. I find myself gravitating to this palette for a shadow or two, and then sometimes I completely forget about it because I like to put together full looks with the palette. I think by putting this in my project pan, I'd be more inspired to use this color scheme and play around with the different shades. I obviously don't think I can finish this all up in a year, but I'd like to hit pan in at least 2 shadows. And the last product that I want to use up this year is my Coastal Scents Single Shadows. I keep them in the Z palette. And everything here is from Coastal Scents except this one glitter, which is from a random Etsy store. I like the Coastal Scents shadows. I think their mattes require a lot of building and they don't last on me, but their shimmers are really good and they actually have a wide variety of shades. But because my eyeshadow palette collection has expanded and I've found more single shadows and shadows overall that I like more, this just falls by the wayside and doesn't get enough love. I want to hit pan at least 2 shadows of this because I just want to use it more. It was one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes at the time and the first single shadows in my collection. So those are all the products I intend to use up in 2019. Are you doing a project pan this year? I'd love to see what you're panning down below. If you like this video, I hope you'll consider subscribing. I plan on posting at least 2 videos a week, so I hope to see you back on my next one. Thanks!